I'll tell you. I mean, if you want to know, look, the issue with ETH is if you want a decentralized network, you have to actually install a protocol, and it has to run unmolested, unmodified for 5 to 10 years before you can conclude that it is decentralized and censorship resistant. And ETH hasn't even got there yet. The clock on ETH won't start until after. The problem with ETH is after the merge, they've still left all sorts of questions. What's the issuance schedule going to be for the next 1,000 years? What are the staking rules? What are there's so much, there's such an ambitious technology agenda that the protocol never stops mutating. And the problem with an ever mutating DNA structure is you generally end up with a monstrosity, right? You can't keep mutating the protocol for obvious reasons. So ETH isn't really something that you could have an opinion on yet because they haven't stopped mutating it. If I had to have an opinion on what I see in front of me, what you see is this is something that was sold as an ICO to the public. The ETH Foundation, Ethereum Foundation controls it. It's an investment contract, right? It's been hard forked multiple times, and the hard forks aren't just hard forks to fix a fatal bug. They're hard forks that change the underlying monetary protocol, and the protocol keeps materially changing, and it is never stabilized. Right now, you've got an ETH mining constituency, and every year for the past 5 years, they've had a difficulty bomb to destroy it, and they keep putting it off. Well, who's they? The miners don't want to destroy themselves. So who's controlling the network? Not the miners, right? There's a small group of developers that control what the network is, and that's a company. It's a software company, and ETH is an equity, and they've sold it to the general public, and they keep changing the protocol. Hard forks are just software upgrades that are mandatory. So it's not a decentralized network. It's not a commodity. There's no reasonable person that understands the law or ethics could conclude that Ethereum is a commodity, right? You can't. Gary Gensler doesn't think it's a commodity. You can read his videos on it, right? It passes the Howey test as an investment contract. The question you got to ask yourself is who makes the decisions and what's the basis they make the decision, right? It doesn't help to vote on these things either, by the way. Like if you vote on them, companies vote on things. If the shareholders get a vote, that makes it a security, right? The only way to establish a commodity in cyberspace is someone has to follow Satoshi's example. The example is you create the software, you give it to the world with no economic motive, right? And the protocol is set forever and no one changes it. So if you're going to change it, like you could justify fixing a bug. But if someone hard forked Bitcoin to be 42 million coins instead of 21 million coins, or they hard forked it to change the issuance schedule, right? All of a sudden, you've centralized it. You reset the clock. It looks like something which is controlled by an entity, and now you have to wait a decade to figure out whether or not it's stabilized. And so I think the real issue with ETH is a decade after they finish changing it and screwing with it, you can have an opinion on it. But it doesn't look to me like they'll stop hard forking it for the next 3 years. Like the plan is to keep hard forking and hard forking. I'll give you a question. You stake your ETH. Okay, well, what's the yield schedule on the staked ETH for the next decade? And then when can you get your staked ETH out?
I don't know the answer to that, but I guess the question...
What? Nobody knows it. Nobody knows the answer to that. Yeah, there is no answer to that. Now, so here's the problem. Right? If
you're saying there is no second best, Michael.
What I'm saying is you have to go back to first principles when you design a digital commodity. It needs to be a protocol that is like the Bitcoin protocol determines the amount of Bitcoin and the way it's issued and the way the network works for the next 1,000 years. And that protocol was established on Pizza Day when it traded for nothing. and it hasn't changed, right? So like some small change to make it more secure, maybe, but you can't keep changing the protocol. That's the problem. If you change the protocol, then you probably instantiated a security. And now the problem is, if it's a security, you're trading it illegally, right, on unregistered exchanges without a license to trade a security, and you haven't disclosed all the risk factors on the security. So it doesn't work as money, right? It's something different. If you want to create a software company and sell equity, then you do it pursuant to an IPO. Google did it, MicroStrategy did it, Microsoft did it, Oracle did it. There's an ethical way to do it. But it's not ethical and it's not legal to sell equity to the general public without a registration statement and without disclosing the risk factors. And it's not black and white. I mean, there's no gray here. I mean, I wish there was gray, but I mean, I don't see how anybody could look at it as being anywhere gray. I mean, if you actually take an objective view toward it, it does just happen to be extremely diffused in the world. There's a lot of people with it. They've got that going for them. Well, you've got a technical issue, you've got an economic issue, and you've got an ethical issue. So if you look at the ethical issue, the ethics are, it's an unregistered security and it's unethical. Right. So a lot of people that have an objection, they just object to the fact that it's unethical. Right. It's unethical to murder the entire ETH mining industry just because you want to. Right. It's just not right. And it's unethical to sell something as commodity if it's a security. So that's the first issue. The second issue is it economically sound? The problem with that is it's not economically sound because you don't have an issuance schedule and a protocol that's set in stone for the next 1,000 years. You do with Bitcoin. You've got block issuance out to 2140, and you've got a transaction fee model that will just go on, and it's not changeable. No one thinks they can change it. So you've got an economically sound protocol. With ETH, it's not, you can't make a 100-year bet or even a 10-year bet. I mean, the protocol changes every year. Like every time you hard fork, and it's not just there's a precedent for hard forks. There's a precedence for hard forks that make materially different changes to the monetary protocol. It keeps radically changing. And it means there's a small group of people that are going to make something up, and they'll just keep making it up. And they haven't made up what they want it to be yet. Again, like, what's the issuance schedule for the next 100 years? You don't know. That's because no one's made it up yet. So economically, it is not sound. And then technically, it's just too ambitious. The problem with the smart, it's cool, but there's like billions and billions of dollars of hacks. I mean, starting with you could see the writing on the wall. Have you guys read the Cryptopians? You should read the Cryptopians, right? It's the entire story, right? I mean, the network was hacked within, a short period of time after it was launched. And then it was hard forked, right? In an ethical lapse. And that's that difficulty bomb plus a pattern of hard forks continues to this day. So, it seems to me that if you look at the entire industry right now, the smart contract things are interesting, but they're just not technically sound. Right? I mean, like the Axie Infinity hack. How many hacks have there been? $15 billion worth of hacks over 2 years or something. So if your point is, this is interesting technology and it's inspired people. Yeah. If your point is because it's interesting technology, you should invest in it or it should be allowed. Well, yeah, I think people should be allowed to experiment with technology, but like if you go back to the Wolf of Wall Street, just because you have an interesting idea doesn't mean you can run a boiler room pump and dump scheme and defraud the general public just because it's a cool business, right? There's a distinction between whether the business has value and whether or not the way you raise money is appropriate. So, I think that the world's full of technology companies that are innovating right now. There's a lot of private companies. There's a lot of public companies. There's a lot of people building stuff on different protocols.